The purpose of this instruction is to teach you how to open a basic photo in Photoshop, resize, crop, and then save that photo again. So to start out with, you need to open Photoshop. If you don't know where it is on your computer, you can always go to the search bar, start typing in Adobe, and you'll find Adobe Photoshop. It's that blue icon that has the letters PS on it. Once you're in Photoshop, you go File, Open, and you need to go and find the picture that you want to open. If that picture is in your Google Photos, you'll need to download that first and then find it in your Downloads folder. My photo happens to be on my desktop, so I'm going to select it and hit Open. Once you have the photo open in Photoshop, you need to resize. You go to the Image button, go down to Image Size, and you always want to make sure that your resolution is 300 pixels per inch. This one is already 300. You want to make it an average print size, so something like 8 by 10 or 10 by 12 or 9 by 12 is fine. 10 by 15 is fine as well. When we start using the digital SLR cameras, they take pictures at such a large size that it will start out as like a 45 by 50 inch image, and you definitely need to bring that down to a more printable size or your files will be huge. So this all looks okay right here. We're going to hit OK. This image, I'm not really loving how it's cropped right now. So I'm going to go over here to my crop button. It is the 5th one from the top, and it's going to give me a box here that I can adjust to crop my image. You see that it conveniently follows the rules of thirds with these guidelines here. This image, I think, would be a more pleasing composition if I bring it over to the side a little bit right here. If I line up my horizon line with this rule of thirds and crop out some of this boat because that's not relevant information to the meaning of my picture. When I have my photo where I want it to be, I go ahead and click the checkbox to apply the crop. I did notice when I was cropping this that my horizon line isn't perfectly straight. I want to fix that by using my ruler tool. Your ruler tool is usually under the eyedropper tool, so you might see the eyedropper icon and have to right-click on that to get to the ruler tool. When you use your ruler tool, you draw a straight line where you want your horizon line to become straight, and then up here you say straighten layer, and it will move that to become a straight line where you just drew it. Now I need to go back and recrop this image since I turned the composition a tiny bit. Apply the crop, and I have a better, more well-cropped image right now. There are a lot of other edits that I'd like to do to this image as well, but for the sake of keeping this first project more simple, this is as far as we're going to go. We will get into much more complex Photoshop editing in later units. So right now I want to hit File, Save As. I want to save this as a .psd file, and you need to decide where you want to save it, probably in your student folder, your U drive. I'm going to hit Save right here. You can hit OK. And then I may also want to save this as a JPEG. The only reason that you would want to save this as a JPEG is if you're going to send this image to somebody or need it to be in a more universal format than the .psd file. The .psd file is superior in keeping the quality of your photo and in that you can reopen it in Photoshop and continue editing later. I'm going to save this as a JPEG as well because then it will be easier to put into my PowerPoint for my before and after crop. So to save as a JPEG, I select JPEG in my Save As type right here. And you see it will now say JPEG. I typically rename this, and I like to just do a -2 because that tells me that I edited it. So it shows up as a different file than my original that has the same name. Hit Save. It will compress your image, so it will not be as quality of an image as when you save it with a .psd, but that's okay for a JPEG. That's what it has to do. Hit OK, and we are done cropping this image. You can see that now on my desktop I have my pre-crop picture and my post-crop picture that are ready to drag into my PowerPoint and turn in for the cropping portion of this assignment. Thank you.